Many South African households are finding it hard to make ends meet with little or no regular income. To encourage South Africans to make informed and responsible credit and money decisions in order to improve their financial well-being, the Money Smart Week campaign is being held this week. Now, this campaign also aims to provide a national collaborative platform that brings together organizations and individuals across sectors to promote financial literacy and consumer awareness and contribute to a more financially literate society. To talk a little bit more about this, we're joined by Ester Ochse, who's F&B product head of Integrated Advice. Esther, what a pleasure to have you. Thanks so much for joining us to talk about this.
Good morning. Thank you for having me, and good morning to your viewers.
So, Esther, real question. For someone whose income is basically exhausted before the month even hits the second of whatever the month, the respectable month it is, and this, I think, is an absolute reality for a lot of people. After all those debit orders are gone, you've got nothing left. So how can we be smart with our money?
Yeah, so it's definitely an issue that we have, not only it's across all income groups. It's not only in the lower income groups that, the sort of money hits on the 25th of the month, and then by the 2nd of the month, everything's gone. And then people tend to go and lend and borrow to get through the rest of the month. So what we often say at F&B is sort of get back to the basics, go back and go and have a look. Really go and interrogate your money. Start having a look at where your money is going. And I mean, I catch myself often with this. I go into the grocery store and suddenly I start buying unconscious things as well. Things start jumping into my trolley. So go and have a look at that. Go and look at your spending. Use the apps that's available to you. Or alternatively, just do the old-fashioned way of, writing down everything that you're spending your money on. And you're going to see there where the unconscious spend is or the spending leak is. And then, of course, there's things like debit orders. Go and have a look at all your debit orders. Is there potentially subscriptions that you're not using anymore? That type of thing as well. And really get back to the absolute fundamentals, because when a person is in a situation like this, it does require some tough decisions about where you're spending your money as well.
Yeah, and it is because, there's, I suppose, a big difference between sort of overspending and actually somebody that is genuinely getting into financial distress. What are the signs? What are those signs that we should look for to say, hang on, you're actually getting into financial distress? This isn't a matter of overspending on things that you can't afford. Even the things that you should be able to afford, you just can't. You can't buy them anymore.
No, 100%. And I think it's a very good thing. And what we normally do here is we've got a nice sort of rule of thumb of how much you should be spending on sort of unsecured debt. And if you're spending more than 15% of unsecured debt, then it's something that you really need to be conscious of. It's not an absolute. It's not saying that you mustn't spend more than 15%. It's just 15% and below is a sort of a comfortable amount that you're spending on unsecured debt. That's things like personal loans, revolving loans, credit cards, those type of things. If you're starting to use debt to get through the month, so you're using debt, either short-term loans, temporary loans, you're going to informal lenders to get through the month, then it really is a warning sign that you need to start looking and reassessing where your spending is going, how you can potentially make some changes. Is there a way that you can potentially consolidate your debt to free up some cash flow so that you can get through the month? But, if you're starting to really rely heavily on debt in order to get to the month, that is a massive, massive concern. And that is something that you need to then pay attention to.
And then you get even into more trouble when you start taking out credit to pay off the debt, because there's so many loopholes when we talk about these monthly installments. And perhaps you want to talk to us about some of these credit holes and we can fall into.
No, so I think you've hit the nail on the head, because what happens is you feel that you're in debt on this position over here. How am I going to pay that? You take out debt on that component there. And then it really is this complete debt spiral. So, I would strongly suggest to your viewers this morning is go and sit down and literally just go and make what we call a debt template. So sit down and make a list of everyone that you owe money to. Literally from your home loan, your vehicle finance, personal loan, credit card, all of those type of things. Have a look at that and get a holistic view of what your debt position is. Then there's a couple of things that you can do, and then we sort of think of it in 3 buckets. The first bucket that you can do is do what we call the sort of money management or integrated advice way of doing it. Is have a look at your spending, see if you can free up some cash flow. Even sort of 200-300 rand a month is a way that you can free up the cash flow. And then you look at either spending it off via the avalanche method or the snowball method. Pay the highest interest rate item or the smallest outstanding amount, just to start getting out that. And then another thing, Leanne, and this is very important, if you feel that that is an overwhelming debt position, please chat to your financial services provider, chat to your bank, chat to your retailer, say to them, listen, you're struggling, you really are struggling to make the payment. The bank will most likely try and help you to see if there's a way that they can consolidate the debt, see if there's another way that you can do with, or something else that you can do with your debt. Do that and really chat to your bank, because they are there to help you as well.
Yeah, and I think people kind of forget that. You think they're the ones that you want. You sort of like, if they can't see you, you can't, you can't see them, they can't see you. But they're watching you all the time. So rather confront them and say, I'm in trouble, I need help, what can you do for me? And that, I think, is a relationship that people forget that you can have with your bank. And I think it's an important one for them to approach the bank and say, listen, this has just happened to me, I'm in big trouble, how do you help me?
Yeah.
Is that, I mean, genuinely, I'm dumbing it down, but can you do that? I mean, is that something that you guys will sit down with me and say, okay, here's your problem, this is where we can help you, but you need to help us as well?
That's exactly what, and I think you've very eloquently put it down, is come and chat to us.
Yeah.
If it is a case that, even if you've had a life event that you didn't plan for, obviously a person wants to have emergency savings for life events. That's an entirely different topic. I think you and I can chat an entire morning just on emergency savings. But something happens, you have a bumper bashing and you haven't got the emergency savings. How do you pay for it? And then slowly that spiral starts. But if you chat to the bank, they definitely will try and help you and try and assist you and see if there's a way that they can help you to get out of this debt spiral, consolidate, all of those type of things.
Okay, so here's my final question to you, because I think it's let's do a doable thing, something that every household can actually achieve. What is that in this Money Smart week? What is that financial action that we can take that you're actually going to see benefits next month? Give me one pearl of wisdom.
And I need to limit it to one. There's so much that I can talk about. So the first thing, and I'm gonna push the boundary here. I'm gonna take two. The first thing is go and have a look at your spending. See if there's some way that you can free up cash flow. Or free up cash. And that literally is, something like if you eat takeouts 3 times a week, that could be 600 Rand a week. That's 2,400 Rand a month that you're paying on takeouts. Is there a way that you can reduce that? So we're not the fun police at F&B. We're not saying don't have takeouts. We're saying, is there a way that you can reduce that, free up some cash flow? So that's the first thing. Go and critically look at your spending. See if there's a way that you can. And then the next thing I would strongly suggest is go and have a look at something like drafting a debt template, see what your debt position is, and how you can start chipping away at that expensive, unsecured debt, the informal lenders, all of that type of thing, so that you can get out of there, so that you can start getting to the future resilient you.
Amazing. And then perhaps maybe put it in a tax-free account, that money.
So it's a good idea, but I would suggest is starting off with just a basic emergency savings.
Yeah.
Just a basic, something that's at the bank, nothing fancy, just literally an emergency savings account, something that you can get hold of very quickly, because, not a 32-day account. I've never seen an emergency wait 32 days, but something that's easy access within 7 days, and you want to work towards having a sort of a 1 month buffer. So if your income is, say, 6 or 7 or 10 or 12,000 Rand, you want to have 1 month's worth of emergency savings in that account, so that if you do have that bumper bashing, you have a child that falls ill, that you can get hold of that money and you don't need to go into debt. And I always say those are the 3 fundamental things when it comes to managing your money. Check your spending, spend less than you earn, which is basically good old-fashioned budgeting. Manage your debt to make sure that you're not spending too much of unsecured debt. And then, of course, having that emergency savings. Those 3 fundamental things need to be in place before you start looking at all the other stuff that you need to do.
Okay, that's our Monday morning education lesson for the week. Come on, guys, let's do this. It's amazing. Thank you, Esther. What a pleasure speaking to you. So nice to get some understandable financial advice. I think that's what people are lacking these days. Ester Ochse is the F&B product head of Integrated Advice, talking to us about the importance of financial literacy. This week, of course, is Money Smart Week. The campaign is happening this week, and I hope we've given you some smart advice.